For some reason, instead of Disney and DreamWorks just creating normal characters, they seem to keep creating hot furries. Now look, we aren't complaining, but it seems like a very targeted attempt to get fooners to put their furry little bums in cinemas and pay the box office. But furry bait, to put it simply, is just a piece of media that uses anthropomorphic characters to tell a story in the fabrics of our own reality.
What's 9 plus 10? 21?
You're beautiful! And all across the world there's been a rising increase in said furry bait. A movie intended for families, yet seemingly has an ulterior motive. The sole goal is to luring a certain type of person, this very easy audience to get into cinemas, and that is the main goal. But the interesting part of furry bait is the hook. What grabs a person, and more interestingly, what about it grabs a normal person? And since I am your resident normal person, I'm the perfect person to explain the hook. The hook can be many things, a man, a woman, fat, or skinny, but they all share one common factor, this identity that separates them from the other characters. They are furries.
You fucking
lovely person. What?
Furries need no introduction, and over the past 10 or so years they have gained back some respect, and how I measure this respect is how often normal people publicly announce they're gooning to a furry character, and to some extent I'd link this to how being a game was viewed in the early 2000s too. There was even a movie about that.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Steven.
If you still even remember that name.
But as a rule of thumb for identifying furry bait, there are three main tells. 1. The character will always be a human, but le animal, though most commonly would be a wolf, fox, or some other variety of canine. The species does vary, but most commonly it is these main categories. 2. Twitter artists. And that's all I'll say. And 3. U2's making a suspiciously jar-sized plush of them. Now, if your favorite character has these three tells, then that means your childhood crush might have been furry bait, and this pretty awesome indoctrination isn't a new thing. Though yes, in recent years it's become a lot more prevalent, its actual start is somewhere in the 70s. What does pique my interest though is how no one was shaking hands with the devil to Danger Mouse, yet suddenly most people can agree that Mr. Wolf is breedable. I believe this is because the definition of furry bait is extremely subjective yet very exact. My kudos definition is that furry bait, plain and simple, is a character designed by furries for furries. So a casual artist when asked to draw a cartoon animal for a children's TV show would draw something like Danger Mouse, but when a furry is asked to draw a character they tend to go a tad overboard. Now instead of going into a deep dive into the origin of furry bait, I don't really care enough, so I'd rather spend time focusing on what it actually caused: furries. To expand on the hook specifically, I want to quickly focus on death. What makes this character not only appealing to the furry audience, but most importantly the general audience. For one, the story surrounding death is cinema, and all of the accompanying cast members, even the ones who aren't furries, are also created with so much depth that most of the characters leave a lasting impact far after the movie's runtime. I'm saying this to tell you that no matter how hot the writer's self-insert persona is, it would just be a mildly interesting 2 hours with some eye candy. But if you create the world first, then add your persona, the chance of a good hook being created is a lot more likely. And because this has happened so much, it's created a community of furries. To summarize an already simple story, a movie or anthropomorphic character caused my brain to become a lot more broad. Let's say for me it was the Easter Bunny, and for casuals it was most likely Judy Hopps or Lego Sheep. Now what makes normies take one look at Diane Foxington and say, I'm gonna fuck that? Personally, most of us prefer Mr. Wolf, but if we are starting at the top of the pipeline, then the fishing hod is gonna hook us straight in. Did you know that in terms of male You see, this pipeline is also like a plant. The seed in this scenario is a movie, but it can be interchanged with games like FNAF.
Stop drinking. She's being too greedy.
Or a very unfortunate stumble upon DeviantArt. But a movie is one of many small yet impactful seeds, one that's really easy to grow with the right food, and with how the internet works, seeing one leads to seeing two, leads to seeing a lot more. Furry content creators get a bad rap, and you know what? Good.
Okay, please do not sniff me.
They are the embodiment of le sex is le funny. Now, I would say the problem lies on the 1%, but because it's furries we're talking about, it actually lies on the 90%. This percentage being furry VTubers.
Tighten the knot. You have to make a tight knot. Tighten the knot. You have to pull the knot. You gotta learn knots. If you don't know how to knot, imagine knots. There's a lot of colors of knots. Knots are life-saving. Knots literally do save lives.
Now, the other 8% is the IRL furtubers, and they have the same problem.
Guys, please don't leash me. I really appreciate it if you guys didn't leash me.
But let's use beta as an example. It's less sex equals funny, but if most critical was a furry. But look, to give him the benefit of the doubt, my thumbnails use the exact same clickbait method as him, so in that regard he is innocent. The 2%, the YouTubers who hardly classify as poppy furs, the people who are simply too big, to which most of the fans probably don't even know. Well, there's a few examples of this, but since I work for one, I might as well adjust the elephant in the room. Okay, that's all the attention you're getting. All of these creators have one thing in common, no matter how loud and annoying the 90% may be. They are furries, and the roots to this ever-growing, slightly rainbow plant. Now having roots and seeing these sonars with varying levels of horniness, you start to get a scary thought. Maybe I should create my own persona. If it's a blue wolf, unlucky mate, off to the chopping block. But if you have a creative bone, thus the stem is built. The last part is very quick, and what I would define as the end of the furry pipeline. If you manage to keep a job considering the rising increase in goon sessions, then you might have some spare cash lying around. And like a moth to the flame, that 4 quid is going to a Twitter artist, and that's all I'll say. The transformation from normie to sexually questioning furry is a relatively simple one, but like the focus point would suggest, furry bait in the media is usually the starting point. And it's a topic I'm really interested in for one main reason. Why? Why go through all this trouble to make someone a furry? Why spend years crafting a 2-hour movie that purely exists to flaunt these characters? Why try so hard to craft a world so alike ours but change the one thing that makes us human? Well, I think I know why, and it's not to turn people into furries, I'm pretty sure. It's to express themselves. It's to show this reality of the world through a lens where we don't see people as people, but animals, giving us objective thought. Animal Farm is about Stalin and the atrocities of an iron fist. Robin Hood is a tale warning us about the dangers of capitalism and the crime it causes to live. Beastars is about the struggles of minorities and racial discrimination, even having a whole arc dedicated to the apparent dangers of mixed breeding. I could keep listing them, but you get the point. Being a furry isn't a deep message about life or the world as a whole, though the media surrounding it may be. Being a furry is just about being yourself. Wherever you work, and I know it's IT, when you get home, you can pull up your thigh highs, wear your fursuit, and dance around like the little gay boy you are, because golly, I know I do. I wake up happy knowing I have a slightly large Mr. Wolf cardboard cut out to abuse. The skills to use Photoshop so I can create images not even the devil would glance upon. And let's not get into Blender. But ultimately, if it wasn't for furry bait, I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I am forever grateful for the Easter Bunny and the awesome friends I have due to some random awakening many years ago. Hey, I'm recording on my iPod right now because my camera is out of battery, but if you want to actually take anything away from this video, I'd say we got a lot of hot furry people from it. You could also, actually, the main takeaway should be subscribe to my Patreon. I love money, so the more the merrier, to be honest. You can join the Discord, but nothing much happens over there. If this video does well, then I might start doing stuff over there. And also, My name's Gog.
Lord's home, drop the drawbridge with the horses. Thrones cold, roll the carpet, make some porridge. No time shagging maidens, only whole men. Throw a witch into the fire, that bull is a bit brazen. Two-time moonshine world champion. Needing chumps like changing, you'd be right, my gold is stacking. Sorry boys and girls, but daddy's getting lacked in. You must be a jester if you think your skills ain't lacking. You know my bars a little shifted, but I'll never break. You know the walls a little shitter when they kinda shake. Try to wage war against me, but a big mistake. You gon' revolutionize, I say just let 'em eat cake.
Delicious. Rapping left and right, the English street scour. Ripping huge dumps secretly inside the shower.
What?
Stinky farts reflecting on the tenderness every hour. Poopy loads all day, it's not enough, I must devour!